Okay, guys, this week was a big week for me. It was particularly important because there were several things that finished up for me. Number one was going from legendary to relic weapon, and that was super big because now I have the 6 set bonus, which is huge. Gives me either a lot more damage or a lot more cooldown reduction. The other part is that I did the change quality like twice on the weapon. It happened to hit 88, which is really big. And then, you guys had watched my last video. I was looking for the relic accessories, so I actually managed to finish my 5x3. So we've got 4 engravings that are maxed out at level 3, and then we've got the level 2 adrenaline and the level 1 Empress Grace, which was really kind of a mountain of a task. And then I happened to hit plus 20 on my weapon as well, fairly painlessly, so I got kind of lucky on that too. But these are all huge damage boosts. And then if we look here on my tripods, I managed to stick Lucky Blow 5 on there. And then my Secret Garden also is at 554. And my Celestial Rain is at 542. So if I wanted to spend gold on my character a little bit more, the biggest power boost will be trying to get that weak point detection up to 4 or 5. This tripod level. And then getting Piercing Strike up to 4 or 5. And then Exposed Darkness up to 4 or 5. Those are kind of the last 3 tripods that are kind of like super critical for my Arcana. So I wanted to talk a little bit about finishing up the accessories because this was something that I was fixated on in the last video. My Empress Grace 5 accessory. So even if I were to get Empress Grace and then a useful engraving on the second line, so maybe it was Hitmaster 3, maybe it was Barricade 3, maybe it was Cursed Doll, it would still be very difficult to get Adrenaline 3, Empress 5, right? So that would be 5x3 plus 1. So if I were to show you this adrenaline would be maxed out at 3 and I would still have Empress 1. That would be very difficult to do without cutting like a ridiculously good stone. So I opted to save a little bit of gold, and by that I mean not pay 100,000 gold for my Empress's Grace ring. Instead, I got this, and it was still very expensive. It ended up being about 40k gold for me. Okay, so it was pretty expensive. By far, the biggest roadblock in getting this relic set. But I think unless you're willing to wait for a very long time, it kind of is what it is, right? That price is going to be expensive for this accessory. And then after that, because again I got Legendary Crystal and Grudge, the rest of the accessories were actually quite cheap. Now, I settled for some lower quality on some pieces, and I definitely, like, if possible, you would want to get over 1600 specialization. That feels like a really good, like, really powerful stat number to be at. But I'm at what I'm at. Okay, I'm at 1556. I think it's fine. So I think the most expensive accessory, except for my Empress accessory, was like maybe 12k gold. Everything was under 12k. Some of them being like maybe 3 to 4k in price. So it was actually pretty easy to fill out the rest of my accessories after I got my Empress Grace. The other thing that I should note is that I tried to find the cheapest engraving set, which happened to be Hitmaster 5 Barricade 3, and then I put that on my neck. And I tried to get the best quality that I could out of my neck. Now, there's a few things to think about in terms of the distribution. You'll notice that right here on this next neck piece, it says crit is at 493 and specialization is at 453. So maybe if you wanted more specialization, you would get like a similar 73 quality necklace could have those stats flipped, right? It could be 493 specialization and then less crit. Or you could get one that's a little more balanced. It just kind of depends on what you think matters, but I kind of just picked that up. Crit is also fine too. You know, having a little more crit is good, and especially since that's my only source of crit, having that stat be a little bit higher is fine. So that's that. Those were really my big upgrades. Was able to finish the Relic accessory set. Was able to finish the Relic set bonus 6 Ps. Able to get my weapon quality up, and then really I'm back to honing now. Okay, so the next step for my Arcana at this point is going to be honing my Arcana up to 1475 to be clown ready. And to be honest, I feel like I actually want to be somewhere closer to 1480 or 1485 or something like that for clown, especially on the Arcana. It's gonna be tough, I think. So I'm hoping to overhone my character a little bit. That's going to give me a little more consistency, I think, in the raid, which will be helpful. But we'll see where we're at in terms of resources and money by the time Clown gets here. Okay, so that is about it for my update for the character. Of course, I feel like it's going to be fun to see my damage in Kugelanium. So as we do with all these videos, let's go ahead and take a look. And see how we do. This guy has a little orca whale. Like Sakamata. Oh, this paladin just went straight in there. A good turtle pug? Oh man. Throw that there. Dodge out of that. That. Not me. Oops, using it in the wrong order because I'm dumb. This is the good turtle pug. Echo right here. This is it. Oh nice, he got staggered too. Twisted Fate Coal, I could live with that. I could live with that. We're gonna get Awakening Rain Secret Garden, ideally. That's our ideal case. Okay, Neko, do you understand the plan here? What are you gonna do? Okay. Nice, nice damage. 25 mil, did you see that? Ugh. Wheel of Fortune on that. Dude, we are doing some damage. Holy. That. Okay, we're in balance MP. Good rain on that. Got another call. Serendipity on that call. You see that damage? That was insane. Arcana does damage now. Disgusting. Ooh, balance is nice. Yeah, and that pumping with boundless MP too. That was pretty nice. I might throw away this star card. Yeah, throw it away. Throw the balance away too. That, do that. This way. Got out of there. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We're getting frozen. Nice, we got immune. Counter it. Using Quadra Accelerate makes us go fast. Avoid that. Come here, do that. Yeah, our rotation is a bit messed up. Get out of this. The positioning of Kundalanium is a bit annoying right now. Oh, the destroyer's dead. That. Go. 18 mil for that. Crush some cooldowns. Maybe we kill it here if we RNG. Yeah. That's pretty beefy, right? %, Cruel Fighter. That's what we're talking about. Okay, well, that was this week's update for my Arcana. Lots of huge damage spikes, and I think my Arcana at this point is more geared than my Deathblade, which is my previous leading, like, highest geared character. And I can feel it, you know. I still think the practical DPS of the Arcana is going to be tougher to execute. And the biggest things that I think are the hardest about the Arcana is making sure that you're using the short buff time of that return buff window. 5 seconds is not a lot of time. All your cards are 5 seconds. The return window is 5 seconds. Combined with the fact that your moves don't give you a ton of flexibility because you don't have a lot of range on them. In many ways, I feel like the Deathblade is actually has more flexibility in terms of range than the Arcana does. Just because things like Soul Absorber and Blitz Rush and Moonlight Sonic, right, the area of those attacks are so much larger. Really, the only ones that are kind of similar are things like Spin Cutter and Void Strike have somewhat similar ranges to the Arcana. But I think it matters a lot, especially in a fight like Vicus. Going within your 5-second return buff window and then sometimes not being able to engage Vicus because you can't get near her because she's doing a move at that time. And your damage only comes from building stacks and exploding them, right? So you're kind of forced into a very narrow set of moves in a certain time frame. Is really tough. If you really think about your stacking moves, only Quadra Accelerate currently gives you stacks from far range, which I think really, when you think about it that way, you start to realize that, like, okay, if you're in a return buff window and you don't have the balance card popped, you're not getting damage if you can't actually touch the boss, right? Because you're going to need to either use Scratch Dealer or you're going to need to use Spiral Edge, right? You're going to need to use one of those two things to get your 4 stacks. Now, the Arcana update that's being tested on the PTR in Korea right now, if I understand correctly, Call of Destiny, right, the normal skill that we use to draw cards has a tripod that changes it to a stacking skill that gives you 2 stacks. So in that scenario, we're actually gaining the ability to get 4 stacks without a balance card from range because we can use Quadra Accelerate and Call of Destiny. And this will change kind of the damage profile of Arcana a little bit because it means you can still set up your stacks when you're at range. Now, practically what that would mean in a fight is, like, depending on what you're getting, you're going to want to use Secret Garden if you can stay in melee first. If you know, like, a move is coming up that's going to prevent you from being melee, you're going to want to use things like Scratch Dealer or Spiral Edge first, and Secret Garden, and then gain some distance, and then use Quadra Accelerate, Call of Destiny, and Celestial Rain, right, for your second Ruin pop. But the other change that's really being heavily tested right now on the PTR is I think, is it called 4 of a Kind? Let me find it. Four of a Kind, yeah. So Four of a Kind is being buffed a lot too, and this has a little bit more range on it as well. Now, I think it wouldn't replace Secret Garden. I think it usually replaces Serendipity. But maybe this will really help, right? Because if you have 4 stacks lined up already, Return has a pretty okay range on it. Celestial Rain has a pretty okay range on it. And I think Four of a Kind has a good amount of range on it as well. So you actually, like, that might actually change the Arcana's rotation significantly. Just giving you enough flexibility to have uptime even though the boss is doing moves. Because right now, the Arcana, I think, is very punished for its short range on its stacking skills specifically. And then Secret Garden too, of course. But those are my current thoughts about Arcana. Hope you guys enjoyed. Again, if you have any questions or any thoughts, feel free to leave them in the comment. I'm always happy to hear from you guys. And I will see you guys next time.